So I expect them to stop letting me post anytime now, because that's what they do. The National Guard has arrived in L.A. deploying on orders from President Trump to assist with protests against immigration enforcement. The deployment was ordered despite objections from California Governor Gavin Newsom, who called it unnecessary and inflammatory. First National Guard units arrived in L.A. on Sunday morning. He ordered the deployment of 2,000 National Guardsmen to L.A., bypassing Newsom. Protests are in response to increased immigration enforcement sweeps by federal authorities, including recent raids in LA's fashion district and at a Home Depot, where undocumented citizens of the United States go for work, and a lot of them work there. So these are people that are working. That's the thing that I want to keep reminding people. These are people that have jobs. These aren't criminals. They're going around, murdering and raping people. These are people, responsible people that pay into our bottom line here. But, never let that stand in your way of a politically motivated, whatever the fuck this is, an assault on the American people. Newsom and LA Mayor Karen Bass have criticized the move as unnecessary and potentially escalating tensions, which is exactly why they're doing it. Borders are. Holman defended the deployment, warning that Newsom and Bass could be arrested if they impede operations, which is exactly what he wants to do. I mean, he probably got an erection when he said it. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth previously mentioned the possibility of active duty Marines being mobilized in LA if violence continues. What violence? What violence? What violence? Now, the Insurrection Act is not martial law. That's not it. But it is a pathway to invoke that. So that's what we have to remember. It isn't it, but it could be it. Trying to find something that's more up to date. This is 19 minutes ago from NBC. Approximately 300 National Guard members descended on LA this morning after President Trump ordered the deployment of 2,000 troops, a move sharply criticized. Okay, so we know that. The Trump administration borders are warned that enforcement will continue every day in Los Angeles, hinting that even elected officials could face arrest if they interfere with agents on the ground. Holman, appointed by Trump, appeared undeterred by the volatile protests against federal agents in Los Angeles who were carrying out immigration raids. Enforcement would be a daily occurrence, he said in late Saturday interview with NBC. They're trying to escalate this. I'm telling you, we're going to keep enforcing the law every day in LA. They're not, though. They're picking people up off the streets and deporting a lot of them with no due process. That's not following the law. And the Supreme Court just said you can't do that. You can't deport these people like this. They're conducting safety and protection of federal property and personnel. So what violence? I haven't heard about any violence. None. LAPD officers have been deployed and are monitoring activities in the Civic Center area of Los Angeles. The LAPD Central Division posted this morning, "Good morning, DT, downtown LA. National Guard has been deployed to federal facilities. Everyone has the right to peacefully assemble and voice their opinions. However, vandalizing property and attempting to seriously injure officers, whether federal or LAPD, is not peaceful. Officers are deployed and monitoring activities in the Civic Center." House Speaker Mike Johnson says deploying Marines would not be heavy-handed. While his hand was in Hegseth's pocket. Asked about Defense Secretary Hegseth suggesting that Marines could be sent to help respond to protests, Mike Johnson said the move would not be heavy-handed. "One of our core principles is maintaining peace through strength." Oh, can I just beat my head against a wall right now? We do that on foreign affairs and domestic affairs as well. But you just let go. You just pardoned 16 violent insurrectionists that tried to overturn our government. Don't worry about it. And Stephen Miller out there, this is the kind of shit he masturbates to. It is. He can wait for this to happen. Stephen Miller's out there saying, "Oh well, I think this is just perfectly fine." Just perfectly fine. He called these people insurrectionists. Don't you think it's heavy-handed? Well, we have to be prepared to do what's necessary. And I think the notice that might happen might have the deterring effect. Deputy director said that he would not stop. LAPD arrested 11 people last night for failure to disperse. In Paramount, California, a representative says bringing in National Guard will cause escalation. Representative Nanette Barragan, who represents Paramount, told CNN State of the Union that bringing the National Guard to community would escalate the situation. She said that yesterday's protest started peacefully until ICE officers began doing the tear gas, shooting out pellets, she told CNN. I put a video up of the guy taking like 10 or 20 bullets, just standing there, taking it, getting tear gassed, and just walking slowly away, calmly away, and then turned around and just gave him the middle finger. She said she is now being told to prepare for 30 days of ICE enforcement, which will invoke 2,000 troops on the ground. It's a concern, she said. I mean, it's going to escalate the situation. People are going to protest because they're angry about the situation. And we have to just reiterate to people to do it peacefully. Political organization 5051 plans protests across this country this week. Yes, the political grassroots organization 5051, founded to protest the actions of second Donald Trump admin, is planning to hold peaceful protests in solidarity with the people of Los Angeles on June 8th to 14th across the country, according to the news release. The organization accused ICE of conducting warrantless military-style raids in the city on Friday and detaining at least 44 people, as well as injuring and arresting union leader Dave Huerta, president of SEIU California, part of the Civil Employment's International Union. 5051 is demanding an immediate end to unlawful federal immigration raids terrorizing families and communities across the U.S., the release of SEIU president David Huerta, and immediate abolishment of ICE, the deactivation of the National Guard in California, and the enactment of federal legislation preventing Trump from destroying due process rights, freedom of expression, and other constitutional freedoms, the organization said. Noam said in an interview on CBS News, Face the Nation, the National Guard troops who were deployed to address the protests are trained to handle crowds. These National Guard soldiers are being engaged today are the ones that specifically trained for this type of crowd situation, where they'll be with the public and they'll be able to provide safety around the buildings to those that are engaged in peaceful protests, and also to our law enforcement officers so they can continue their daily work.